Why do we do science? How does it influence an individual and a community? What are the benefits of scientific life? In this episode, I will try to address these questions from my perspective. Welcome to Pratidhvani, where we try to humanize science. I'm your host, G.V. Pawan Kumar, and I'll tell you in this episode why I do science. December is when you meet people, many people, especially if you are an academic. Invariably, one travels to a conference or is on an outing with family in this particular month. A general question people ask is, what do you do for a living? This is easy to answer. I usually tell I'm a scientist, professor, working at IISER Pune, blah blah blah, etc. But occasionally, I get an interesting question, especially from a child who asks, why do you do science at all? As always, the why questions are not easy to answer and needs a bit of thinking. When I was asked about this particular question recently, my short answer was, because I like asking questions, I do science. Later, I thought about this particular question, and here is my not so short answer. The first reason why I like to do science is because it provides a playground to wonder. The main driving factor of why I choose science is that I love asking questions and wondering about them. I found that science and scientific research gives me a metaphorical playground to wonder about questions I have in my mind. I earn my living doing this. Can you believe that? For me, this is of fundamental importance to my living. The freedom to ask questions. In essence, research is all about asking questions and finding an answer. The answer you may find need not be complete, and in many cases probably will also not be correct. So you will have to ask another question again to verify the answer, and this process continues over many iterations until you have viewed the response from various perspectives and have come to a satisfactory answer. Remember that there is always room to ask more questions, so the process never ends at all. But you can pause or switch to a new question after asking many questions, and as you may observe, the questions themselves drive you forward, and this process of Q&A is perpetual in research, and this is a process I really love. The second reason why I do science is because it gives me room to use my mind and my hands. Let me explain. Being an experimentalist, I get a tremendous intellectual kick by asking questions and creating new things in the laboratory. I can see how ideas in our minds can, or many a times cannot, be realized by working with our hands. And this is a tremendously exhilarating, enabling, and humbling process. Whenever you build a new instrument, in our case, most of the times it is an optical instrument, it is no longer just an equipment but a piece of art created with the labor of love. Strangely, one also forms a bond with the instrument you make. That feeling is unique to the creator. Many of my students have also tasted this high, and it's kind of exhilarating. The third reason why I like to do science is that it gives you the freedom to visit the past. I personally love history, studying history, especially the history of science. It allows me to explore the past in detail in an intellectual way. To formulate a question, I need to understand the history behind the question. I need to know what other people have thought about the question and how they have approached and addressed that particular question. Science, after all, is built on ideas from the past and the present. So knowing the history is a vital task. In a fast-paced world, this ability and freedom to explore the past is on premium, but research provides you the platform to explore the past. Going to the fourth reason why I like to do science is science gives you the room to express yourself. Human beings are social animals. They interact, talk, exchange ideas, and importantly, learn from each other. To me, science is a form of human expression. It adds two critical dimensions to society. The obvious one is the practical aspect. Science benefits humanity through its application. Everything around our materialistic world is thanks to science and technology, which is essentially the offshoot of science. The non-obvious element that science teaches is the way of thinking and looking at the world. Science facilitates a metaphorical spectacle to view the universe. As Feynman describes beautifully in one of his videos, science helps you to appreciate your world just as art does. So the fifth reason why I'm interested in doing science is that it helps you with a platform to test yourself. A scientist needs all the abilities that any top professional needs, like endurance, concentration, time, and people management skills, and a deeper understanding of ethics, rights, and duties are central to this. Scientific research needs coordinating and interfacing with people. This is especially important if you are an experimentalist. And wherever there are people, there are infinite parameters to deal with. Doing science is not just about being in the laboratory or at your desk or at your board. It is an activity that generally happens in sync with a community. Interestingly, interacting with such a community will bring the individual in you. It will help you identify yourself and differentiate yourself from the others in a positive sense. I have realized and understood myself better by interacting with others than by keeping my thoughts to myself. This process of self-realization by communicating with the outside world has been a great learning experience for me. You expose yourself to new science and ways of living and thinking, especially when you travel and meet new people from different cultures. This exposure to the unknown has added a new dimension to my views and has enriched my life. After all, diversity has its uses. The sixth reason why I am interested in doing science is the social impact. All technology which we use in our daily lives is founded on science. Interestingly, one can use the same technology to study science and discover and invent new things. There is an excellent interaction between science and technology, and they positively feed each other and create a unique intellectual jugalbandi, so to speak. This coherence leads to utility in human life through valuable products and new knowledge. By doing this, science directly impacts the well-being of a society and its future. This social impact is generally non-linear and often challenging to measure and quantify. But we should remember that all technology, including developments in medicine, has its roots in basic science such as physics, chemistry, biology, and mathematics. This creates an excellent opportunity for a scientist like me to participate directly in the work that serves our society, our country, and overall the humanity. So, these are the main reasons why I do science. Doing what we do as a profession is a highly personal thing. Not everybody gets an opportunity to do what they want, but if you get it, you better nurture it with love and purpose. After all, doing science is a way of living. Yes, doing science is a way of living. This is Pratidhvani, where we try to humanize science. I'm your host G.V. Pawan Kumar, and I wish you all a happy, peaceful and scientific year ahead. Bye-bye.